Rogue Tier, we still winning. Magic Card, oh, we extending. Dark Law, he still contending. Sunrise, your lights in it.
Yugi peoples, welcome to the commentary. Alright, so my last tournament last week did not go too well at all. Yeah, not well at all. And you know, my first game ended up being against Kashtira. I think it's Kashtira, Tearlaments, Tearlaments. Yeah, but this kind of sets the pace for how the entire tournament ended up going for me. You know, he starts off with the Kashtira and the Ishizu stuff. I'm gonna activate the D shifter, but he is still able, because he's playing the Kashtira, he has the Kashtira monster out, and he gets the Time Thief Redoer, who ends up hitting the spell card as well. So I'm trying to, you know, remember exactly how the Kashtira monster works. And so when I started looking at my hand, I'm in a very particular position because of the Kashtira monster and the Time Thief monster. So what happened is, yeah, I could go for the OTK, but if he leaves the Time Thief Redoer out on the board, I don't get the OTK. So, you know, it was kind of confusing as to how I should go about this. But I ended up going about it the wrong way. So I summoned out the Solid Soldier and go into Stratos, and I'm not worried about the Kashtira monster because it has the targeting effect and I have the mass change. So you see right there, he targets the Stratos. I'm going to target the Stratos myself, tribute him for the mass change to bring out Blast, and use Stratos effect to grab the Honest Neos, because I'm like, I can go for game here. So this was the thing that, you know, had me question about whether I should go for game or not, and I still ended up grabbing the Neos and trying to go for game instead of like recalculating it. But I really needed for that Stratos' damage to go off in there, so I probably should have activated the Super Poly first. He's going to activate the Redoer effect and banish him off the board, and unfortunately the damage that I have on board with Honest Neos in my hand end up being 100 short of lethal. So if I had really sat there and thought about it, I would have realized that even if he did leave Time Thief Redoer on the board, I still would have had lethal if I had just opened up with the Super Poly to Super Poly his two monsters together and then started doing my summoning and stuff. So yeah, I ended up messing up in this regard, and you know, I could have won this game one, and it's one of those things where it kind of it got to me mentally, because I kept thinking about it, you know, the whole tournament, like, man, I probably could have won my round one if I had actually did math correctly and, you know, just did what heroes do. So, you know, there's a big huge play mistake right there, and you know, it just lets me know that instead of just playing, sometimes I actually need to sit there and kind of like calculate my moves, because I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this will be enough for lethal, but yeah, I ended up being about 100 short, so I didn't activate the Honest Neos. So continuing on here now, you know, I see that he's got a lot of the Shizu cards and everything and stuff, and so I'm trying to decide if it's better for me to go Dweller or is it better for me to go Babushka. I end up going Babushka, and yeah, so during the standby phase, we're gonna detach the Solid Soldier material. We're going to go ahead and summon out the Liquid Soldier to target the Solid Soldier, and here comes the tier stuff. Like, we didn't see him activate that card during the last turn because of Shifter being in play. So it's like now I have like a real big problem, because I switched the Babushka into attack position, and he's got all this Tearlaments stuff going on. There's a lot of milling and just things gone, and his other Kashtira monster, I do believe it banished my my Abyss Dweller. So yeah, we have even more problems there, and you start seeing all the Tearlament stuff coming down, and yeah, that play mistake for 100 damage is gonna end up costing me the entire game. So yep, that's just kind of how it went. You know, he's got both of the big termite. He's got two of the big termite fusion monsters out, and he's got the Kashtira monster out there. And you know, another problem that I kind of have had with this deck is like getting over big monsters, and you know, it makes a big difference when you're trying to play like Dark Law Turbo. type deck, because that 2500 that all these monsters have versus his 24 is like, it just doesn't quite get there like you need it to. So right here I'm trying to decide, you know, what's the best thing to go into, and I end up opting into Redoer here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the Redoer, attack over the couple monsters that I can. We're gonna go ahead and make Zeus, and you know, Zeus just isn't all that great in this area. So, but we got lucky. We ended up getting the Tearlaments trap card. So now when I activate Zeus, at least I can keep one of them from coming back. So, you know, there goes the field spell with that he gets off of the terraforming, which is, you know, quite unfortunate because it's going to allow him to search for, you know, a Tearlaments monster. And then it also gives him the ability to be able to like shuffle stuff. So when he goes and, you know, starts to activate stuff, I'm going to go ahead and chain the Time Thief Redoer effect to bounce it back on top of his deck when he goes to activate the stuff, because it's easier for me to go ahead and do it now before he starts doing stuff that allows it to shuffle my Zeus back into the deck. So we're gonna attack with Zeus there, get over one of them, use the Honest Neos to go ahead and climb over the other one, as we still trying to find a way to push through this game. But down comes the Reinhardt. Go ahead and send the other termite monster, and yeah, from here, you know, it's just going to be, you know, pretty much game. He's just gonna start doing other termite things, dropping so many termite cards and monsters. We're gonna go ahead and grab the Honest Neos, and you know, termites actually, like, one of their monsters is, you know, one of the few cards that can actually stop him from hitting the board and saving me for another turn. And as you see, here goes all that stuff, the shuffle back, and here goes the more fusion and summoning, you know, the big guy. So now we got both of those. We got the other ones out on the board, and the Garuda, you know, the 3K. We go ahead and try to activate the Honest Neos anyway. But this guy, who I thought only stopped spell cards, also stops monsters. So yeah, he's able to keep that Honest Neos from hitting the board. I mean, not Honest Neos, but the Spirit of Neos from hitting the board and saving me for another turn. So yeah, 100 life points there ends up catching me the game. And you know, unfortunately, it's one of those mental errors, or you probably like say lazy game errors, that, you know, end up costing me the match. We still tried to battle back a little bit there, but in the end, it just was not enough to get it done. And now going into game 2, I am going to start things off. And of course, I'm going to start things off with our most powerful of cards. We got the Hero Lives there to bring out the Shadow Mist. I'm trying to get to that Mass Change, get to that Dark Law, but denied by the Imperm. But we still got our backup plan. We're going to go ahead and bring out that Solid Soldier, bring out that Stratos. We're going to use Stratos effect to add Shadow Mist. And you might be asking, why would he add Shadow Mist right there? It's because I have Super Poly in hand. So when I Super Poly him, I want to be able to discard the Shadow Mist and then add whatever, you know, hero monster I might need for the next turn. During the standby phase, we're going to go ahead and activate the Abyss Dweller effect. Go ahead and get that in there. And he's going to go ahead and special summon out his Tearlaments monster. And he's going to go ahead and try to start things. I'm going to go ahead and activate this Called by the Grave. We're going to hit the Tearlaments monster that is inside of there. And he's going to start link summoning. He brings out the Dark. Dark has enough tech to get over the Abyss Dweller, so I have no choice but to Super Poly there. Well, I kind of have a choice, but I would rather keep the Abyss Dweller out on the board. So, you know, it's kind of sucks that I wasn't able to make him with the Liquid Soldier for that extra 500 attack there. And, you know, I kind of thought that his turn would be over, but no, we forget about the Kashtira element that he has inside of his deck. And down comes the, what is his name? The Unicorn. Down comes the Unicorn with the spell that allows them to, you know, normal summon without tributing and everything. So The problem with this is you know what I was saying earlier is like I don't have access to a hero monster right now, and I don't have anything big enough inside of my extra deck that can get over the 2500. Like I keep saying, and you know, telling myself that I really want to add in the Utopia package. I just have not been able to fit it into my extra deck. So yeah, it's been putting me in some really bad positions, and this is one of them. We're gonna go ahead and summon the Liquid Soldier. I know he has the monster in graveyard in order to be able to stop it though. So all we're able to do is, you know, make this Time Thief Redoer and hope for the best when it comes down to it. In the standby phase, we're gonna get the Redoer effect, get the Abyss Dweller effect. He's got the other Kashtira monster now. He just normal summons it out, goes and search for the other one. And you know, also at this time he's like banishing things from my extra deck. So he's gonna go ahead and go into the battle phase there. So I have no choice but to activate my Time Thief Redoer effect if I want to leave him on the board. And yeah, so now we're recalculating, doing damage and stuff, getting the effects of everything, because the unicorn is just like steadily banishing stuff from my extra deck, and then his other cards are banishing stuff from, you know, other places. Like my whole extra deck is just getting banished and destroyed here. You know, very, very interesting turn of events. So I didn't really think that those other effects were gonna, you know, like matter so much, but they end up mattering a lot. So in the standby phase, we end up hitting another spell card with our Time Thief Redoer. Been getting like extremely pretty lucky with that, but unfortunately not as lucky with the draws that I've been getting. So yeah, he banishes cards according to the number of face down banished cards that I already have, which is, you know, pretty rough. And looking at my extra deck, trying to see is there anything left for me to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh with, because I don't have much left. And you know, just thinking about what I can do, we're going to go ahead and activate the Rhoda, and the Liquid Soldier has already been used, so there's not much left for me to be able to fight with. And he banished so much of my stuff too. I think one of the main cards that he banished was my Honest Neo. So yeah, it just makes it to where I can't like get over these monsters. And you know, kind of searching at it, looking at it, and you know, I just finally kind of let them know, hey, I cannot get over that. There's nothing in there strong enough to be able to just get over it. I had two really bad super polys in hand because the Kashtira monsters are like different attributes and types and stuff, so I wasn't able to super poly them together too. So that actually might be a card considering taking out when I do play against the Kashtira stuff. So yeah, that first round there is kind of like how my tournament ended up going for me last week. And you know, that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh is. Sometimes you can't expect to win and top every single, you know, locals that you play in. You know, sometimes things just don't go your way, and this was one of those weeks. So you know, that being said, you know, I want to try something different with my hero deck this coming up week, so y'all stay tuned for that. We'll see how it ends up going. You know, I played one version of the deck before. You know, I did I believe it was the Shining Flare, because I believe the Shining Flare Wingman, because I believe being able to pop multiple cards on your opponent's turn was like really, really good. You know, not as good this format because popping the Tearlaments cards, they just, you know, come back. So that's why I haven't been playing that deck. But let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead and do the lockdown Hero Neos deck on them. All right, so I want to appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next video. Ain't nobody messing with the Masked Hero, king of games. Mask off, now you see that a hero lives. I pay half and you ask, but I'm winning games. There ain't another hero that surpasses me.